Hey, everybody, Lab Coat Agents. I'm Dale Bryan here, and we've got our guest today, Robby T. And I've known Robby now, I don't know, 6, 8 months, and we've really kind of had a great rapport and just different things. And I want to say that there's nobody I know in the industry right now who's writing better scripting for text messages and emails and connect rates. I can tell you that I personally use some of Robby's stuff, and we're getting an over 40% contact on brand new, not pay-per-click leads, and listen to this, Facebook leads, over 40% contact rate. And now, like, guys, I want to tell you that that's not 40% of the people I'm closing. I'm not saying that, but the number one thing that we need to do when we get a lead is figure out how to just the disposition. Is that junk? Is that good? Is it bad? And Robby's stuff does that. And we're gonna, he's gonna drop some gems today for us to learn about texting, maybe talk about some drip campaigns. We're just kind of drill him, and he's gonna just give us his great information. So Robby, I'll let you. That's my intro. So
we're not quite ready yet. Hold on, we're not ready yet. We gotta
yet.
We gotta go live onto Lab Coat Agents Facebook. We gotta get your face out there, Robby. It can't just be us and the 20 people that are live in the webinar. We gotta put this out to the world, my friend.
To the billions,
to the masses.
There it is. I like it. I love Dale. Every time I get to see you, dude, your background just makes me happy. I want to learn more about your decorations behind you. So.
Thank you. So I collect art, and so these are just those are my kids there. I collect some, but my computer. I collect prints of like art and stuff, and so, and then there's just various random detritus up there in my bookshelves. What you don't see is this over here. Look at this mess. That's the kids' crafting area, and that's my whiteboard. That's the junk in my trunk, as they say.
I believe that's COVID, right? We all right. Those of us who have kids, and I have kids, but mine are grown, we've all become teachers and daycare and all these other things during these times. So that's why I have a virtual background, so you can't see my mess.
The first time I got in here, I was like, Brian, man, you're living the high roller life.
Right. Yeah, look at him.
It's all about presentation, right, Robby? So okay.
Hold on, right, we're almost live.
We're almost live. And Zoom really has been a nightmare. The internet's been a nightmare all day today. I was afraid, that we use Alexa in my house, so basically everybody in the world knows everything about me. At least Google does. But Alexa today, for the first time ever, says I can't do that. I can't do that over and over again because internet connections. And so it's a strange day out there. So hopefully it'll go well today.
Oh gosh, it might drop one of us at one point. Don't be too shocked. That's happened to me twice today. So it just cuts you out. So.
Just a bad internet day. It happens. So. Anyway, are we live, Dale?
Hold on. Wait. Just wait for it. Wait. Technical difficulties. Working on it. At least I'm still here and you can hear me. God.
That's true. 100%.
Well, I'm trying to get the description in here.
Oh, man, I always laugh. Zoom, half the time, it won't work. This won't happen. You got to switch browsers. Technology is amazing when it works, and then there's all the rest of the time. So that's definitely an issue that we have as we move forward. But
truth, dude, truth.
All right, so here we go, and go live. Okay, I clicked to the button that says go live. Here we go, live on Facebook. Hello, Lab Coat Agents. It is me and Brian Curtis. I'm Dale Archdeacon. I need no introduction. The man of the hair. And Brian Curtis, he needs no introduction. And this guy here is Robby T, Robby Trefethren from Hatch Coaching, who definitely does not need an introduction. But this guy is who we're interviewing today. And for all of those of you who are going to be watching, I want you to get a pen and paper, and I want you to turn off CNN. I want you to turn off Fox News. I want you to pay attention to what this guy has to say, because none of those people are going to make you any money this year. Robby will make you a lot of money this year if you pay attention to what he has to say. So Brian, why don't you introduce Robby T to our esteemed audience here today?
Absolutely. We'll see how well. I've already done this once when I thought we were live. So let's see how well I do it this time. So, Robby and I have known each other now for about 6 or 8 months. And the thing that's been most impressive to me is just his ability to find ways to communicate that are over words, text messages, emails, voicemails. No, Robby does other stuff as well. He definitely teaches people how to have conversations. But I feel like, his area of expertise is understanding just the little tweaks. And here's the thing that I've learned in the short period of time that I've dealt with Robby is we can make a little tweak and we can increase conversion by 1 or 2%. And think about 1 or 2% conversion. It doesn't even sound good, but that's one extra deal for every 100 people, or 2 extra deals for every 100 people. That's huge. We live in a business that our commissions are so high, and I know we all want higher commissions, but our commissions are so high. If we move something 1%, 2%, can literally change our lives. And that's hopefully Robby's going to give us some insight on some of the best ways to communicate with people today over text and emails, and maybe even some voice scripts as well. So
yeah, let me give my testimonial, right? So Brian and I, obviously we're here every week in Cash Call. We're giving you guys advice, scripting, dialogue. How do I talk to people? I have a whole principle thing that I teach. If somebody said to me, hey, Dale, do you have a really good text series that you would send to convert leads? I would say, please talk to Robby, right? If somebody said, Dale, can you write some really good email drip campaigns for me? I'd say, here's what I can do. It's one email address. It's Robby T at Hatch Coaching. He can fix that for you. That's what I would do.
we stick in our lane, right?
Yes.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.
So who wants to ask Robby questions first?
All right, I'll go.
Brian ask Robby questions.
I was going to say not me. That'd be really weird.
So here's what I'd like to talk about today, everyone.
So I didn't prep this question, so I don't know what it looks like. I can tell you the text message I'm telling people to send out here. So it's after the first of the year. I feel like we're still in that zone where we can say, hey, it's the new year. Would you agree with that, Robby?
Oh, 100%. Yep.
Okay.
You probably got maybe a week of runway left, but for sure, February 1st, that's out the window. You can't.
Okay. So for the next 7 days, if you were directly coaching somebody who was sending text messages for the next 7 days, give us some ideas what that would look like, and where would you go with it?
And why don't we make it easier for them? Like, let's start with like new leads, somebody I haven't talked to, somebody I have talked to, somebody who talked to me for a while and then stopped talking to me.
Yeah, all those different scenarios. So
exactly. So I'll give you my boilerplate language. Let's start there, right? That you can use, and we'll talk about how do we adjust it maybe for a new year. Here's the biggest thing. Okay, I want to kind of just first, can I take a moment and digress from your question? Come back.
Please.
Cool. So here's what's interesting. First off, let's all acknowledge that phone call answer rates are dying, right? And they continue to go down. And Dale and I have talked about this. The reality is that you gotta pivot, you gotta shift, you gotta adapt to the game. And that's just, I was an old school guy. I was an ISA boots on the ground for years. I made 100,000 calls, spoke to 10,000 people, set 1,000 appointments. I did all that almost all through the phone. And it's just the game is changing. And you got to be texting people. And really what it comes down to is when we're reaching out via text, what I want to impress upon people is not all messages you send are the same, right? Your messaging is really going to matter. And here's why. A lot of people are sending messages that are ruining their ability to send messages further down the line. Okay, I'm gonna
tell us about that.
Oh yeah,
tell us about that.
So here's the thing, right? You have T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon, right? And there used to be Sprint, but T-Mobile bought it. What happened is the FCC gave 100% authority to these companies to solve these spam issues that we're all encountering. Spam texts, right? And spam phone calls. The FCC, a government entity, said to businesses, figure out your own problem. You'll ever hear about that? I sure don't hear about that often, but that happened. And so here's what's happening. These carriers are deathly afraid that if they continue to allow spam to come through, that it's going to expedite the death of a phone number. I'm going to tell you right now, 10, 15 years from now, we won't have phone numbers. If you think I'm crazy, if you think I am, what's your landline number? It's gone, right? It's going to die. Why do you think Facebook pays someone for WhatsApp? Because eventually it will be the primary way people communicate. All a phone number has always been is a unique identifier, right? It's here's your number, which is your name. Well, why do you need that if you have Facebook?
Right. If I have my name, I don't need a phone number.
Exactly. So the world's going to change. So they're trying to make sure, and obviously that they don't just make money on that. They make money on the telecom services, giving you internet everywhere you go and internet access, all that stuff. But the point is they're trying to solve this problem. Well, here's what's happening. Twilio, who connects every CRM and every company out there to these carriers and basically sends the messages, has told people you can't send marketing or sales-based messages via text, or else you're at a lot higher chance that your messages will reduce the deliverability of your phone number's messages. So what I'm seeing happen is a lot of people think the way to win a lead over is I'm going to send them a bunch of spam all the time. I want to send them information all the time about real estate, almost like an e-alert or a safe search. That is rule number one to get your phone number basically blacklisted and to have your messages go undelivered. Okay. And they're going to keep tightening this, and they're using AI and all this stuff. So the point behind this, right, is that the carriers are deathly afraid of it. They're doing something about it. You can't be sending salesy marketing-based messages. Now, the reason this tees me up to, Brian's question about what are you sending is we send messages that are always conversational in nature. And that's per Twilio's words, by the way.
Wait a minute. I want you to repeat that, Robbie. Here's the reason that I want you to repeat it.
Yeah.
Is because I know how this works, and you know how this works in coaching and training. A whole bunch of people just went, They don't know what you just meant by that. They don't know they're not like, oh, I know what a conversational text is versus a sales text.
Conversation. What's a conversation? Saying things, asking questions back and forth. Honestly, that's simple, right? Think about a conversation. What are we doing right here? Brian started us off by asking a question. Almost always, to see if something is conversational in nature, you're asking some question that can't be salesy or marketing, can't be tied to when you want to go view a home, salesy, pushy, marketing. So our opening text that we send, and take it, go use it. I guarantee you your response rates will go up is, hey, Dale, saw that you were looking at some homes on one of our websites. There's a lot going on in the world right now, but I wanted to see if you're just kind of looking for fun or to see if you plan on potentially making a move sometime soon.
Perfect.
It's really that simple. It's
very easy.
You know what I tell people, guys? Act like you're sending a text to like a family member, a spouse. It's really that simple.
Exactly. I think a good test for people, Robbie, would be if you can put it on your sales brochure, it's not conversational.
I like it.
Is that a fair statement?
Dude, amen.
Seriously.
Amen. Yeah. If you wouldn't respond to it, if that would make you feel gross, why are you sending it?
Right.
Yeah. And the other myth I think people have, and people struggle with this with email of converting leads for a long time, or voice to voice. People don't want you to send them information unless they specifically ask for it. And a lot of people think, oh, this lead signed up, I'm going to send them a bunch of information about my team, why I'm great, why we're the best team. They don't care about you. I can say that a lot more frankly, but leads don't care about you. They care about themselves. Mm-hmm. So what we're doing in all these conversations, and Dale knows this from having voice-to-voice conversations, is you just have conversations centered around the lead, right? Dale Carnegie said it best. He said that the most important thing you should ever do in human communication is make the other person feel the most important. So you do that by making them the center of the conversation. Like, it's really that simple. So what we're always doing is we're starting our conversations, and we'll share some more messages that are kind of funny that get people to respond, all that fun stuff. But the key here is we're sending out questions that seem human, that seem genuine, that are rooted in curiosity. And you know what we also do? We don't care what the response is. I think so many people become attached to converting leads that you get this nasty sales breath, that when you hear no, you try pushing it to a yes. And what that actually does is it ruins future opportunities. What you need to do is when somebody says no, turn it into a question. Well, why not? Why aren't you interested? Or
why no?
Why no, right? You got to find a way to turn it into a question. And Dale knows this. Brian knows this as well. Another really big thing is when somebody says, I'm just looking for fun, don't do what most real estate agents do. And okay, no problem. Keep using my website. We'll follow up in a year, and then it dies and goes into purgatory, right? Mm-hmm. But I would text back. I'd be like, got it, Dale. So you're just kind of curious right now. But let's say the ideal home came on the market sometime. Is that something you'd consider viewing, or would you miss out on that opportunity? Or I'd say, got it, Dale. You're just kind of curious. By the way, what had you interested in real estate to begin with?
Yep. Just carry on the conversation. That's great. That's excellent.
And what you're hearing with Robbie, and for all the people listening, you notice he's not putting himself in a box.
Yes.
You want to buy a house now? No. Well, then I'm done. You know, I mean, don't put yourself in a box, because that's not how we have conversations. Think about if you're talking to your spouse, a significant or friend, you don't put them in a box, not if you want to stay married. So it's the same type of thing. We are having open-ended
Hashtag life
conversations.
lessons.
Hashtag life lessons. Who knew that we are going to do marriage counseling here on Cash Call today? So think about that from
My
that
point is,
perspective.
Brian, we've tried it. It doesn't work. Don't do it.
Yeah,
Go.
I've done it. It goes badly. There's couches. It's sleeping at night. But very realistically, understand that. So you know, I'll pass it back to you, Robby. That's important to me.
No, I mean, I'm still internally dying from that. That was a good one, man. That I'll never forget that.
There you go. Feel free to use it.
Yeah, I'll give you credit. And really, so just the big thing that we're doing here is we're sending messages that include a lot of questions. Now, the interesting thing about the texting conversion game is it's a lot more problematic, meaning, well, there's some really cool pieces, but let's talk about the problems first. First off, the conversations take significantly more daytime, spreading out time, right? If I'm talking to Dale or Brian or any lead, in 10, 15 minutes, I can learn everything about what they're hoping to do traditionally. That's not going to happen in the text. Now, for those of you that still have resistance to like this whole idea of texting leads, I do need to tell you something.
Oh no, tell them to stay there, Robby. Tell them to stay there so that we can sell the houses. And you don't need to, you do not need to come to our church of texting. You stay outside. Right?
Yeah, you say out, your texting doesn't work. That's for like, I don't know, Gen Zers, right?
Yeah.
What it really comes down to is you need to hear this. The younger community, well, first off, people don't answer the phone calls. Let's talk about that for a second. The reason people aren't answering phone calls anymore is because of spam phone numbers. It ruined the idea of a random phone call. But there's more to it than that. A random phone call is highly inconvenient, and they're not in control. Let's be very real. It's not convenient for people. If you go look at, and this is my favorite part, if anybody on here has kids, 15, 20, 25 years old, what happens every time you call your kid?
They don't answer.
And then what do?
They text you.
And literally a second later, what's up, Dad?
Yep.
This is the
Which means I don't want to answer the phone. Tell me what you want.
Correct. Right. I was watching Shameless last night. All right. One of my favorite shows. I don't know if either of you watch Shameless.
I've never seen it, no.
Oh God, it's hilarious.
So check it out now. Yeah, it's kind of triggering. It reminds me of a lot of my family growing up. So
not good.
Now I have to watch it.
Like the Trefethren family is the Gallaghers in some way, man. I'm not gonna lie. So it's triggering sometimes. Except I grew up in Fargo, not inner city Chicago, so it wasn't as crazy. But here's what was funny is there was in the episode we watched last night. It was episode 3. One of the characters was trying to get a hold of all of her family members to bring something to her daughter's school, just a snack for her daughter. Do you think she called any of them?
Mm-mm.
No, she was texting them like crazy. That's what they do. That's what these kids are doing. And here is the thing that you need to recognize is anything that's new, that's going to become the norm, it always starts with young people.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Facebook, like the adoption of tech. People that were using Prime before everyone else, people using Instacart, Uber. It's always young people. It's the whole idea of early adopters. And generally, young people tend to be naive enough and they don't have these generational habits of using an old way of thinking. So young people adopt something, it eventually becomes the norm and it becomes a tipping point, right? Landlines are a really good example. It took a while to have 50% of people get rid of their landlines. And then all of a sudden they just disappeared. Truly. Yeah. Some people have landlines, maybe bundle it with their internet to get it cheaper.
Comcast made me take a landline. I don't know what the number is, and there is nothing attached. There's no phone with a cord on it in my house.
But you have one.
But you have
there
one.
is one.
It's pointless.
It's
but
in
you bundle it so you save your money, which is whatever.
The good neuse is you're getting spam calls on that all day long. You don't have to answer.
All day long. I'm really driving down their conversion metrics.
Yeah, you are. I love that.
So good. All right.
That's a big shift that we're seeing. You got to adopt to it.
Excellent. So, Robby, we got, 6-7 minutes left. It's a half-hour show.
Sure.
Couple things I want to get in.
Yeah.
If you can give these people some advice on what do I do when these people won't respond any recommendations on how to, how to break that ice?
Mhm.
What happens when people are talking to me and they ghost me? What should I do then? And do you have any plans around it? And then how can they get more of you, right? You're out there, you're in Sierra, right? Robby has programmed, he has a special text outreach, campaigns inside the CRM Sierra, and you're also
Yes.
partnered with call action, right?
Call action and follow up boss.
On it.
And follow up boss. Great. Are you programming inside follow up boss now, or is it through call action?
It has to be through call action because all of our
Okay.
plans run automated messages, but we're working, I shouldn't say we, Jesse is working on making the triggers of triggering things in follow up boss exponentially easier to start plans. So
Okay.
we
So people are able to get you.
Yes. Yeah. So let's start with number one. What do you do with people that don't respond? The first thing that I would say you need to do is you need to keep trying. Can I tell you a quick story, right? We got about 5 minutes left. I got to tell you a quick story. It's going to take 2 minutes. About a week ago, Sierra with one of my users, something in code world went haywire. And for Jim's our top ISA, for 15 of his leads, they got a year's worth of messaging plan in 1 minute at a random time throughout the day. Okay.
Nice.
Bugs happen, by the way. Thankfully, it was isolated to us and no one else had this happen. Right?
Yikes.
Yeah, it happens, guys. Like bugs happen. It does. So here's what happened. Here's what's going to shock the living heck out of you. We thought that all of those 15 people would want to cut our heads off. Rightfully so.
Right.
Here's what's nuts. We did have one person that was extremely frustrated. There's another whole backstory behind that of who it went to. We'll save that story for a different day privately. The other 14 people, you know how they responded?
Mm-mm.
Normally, like, hey, yeah, I'm not really looking anymore. That's it.
After your
Here's
15 or 30
nuts,
text
guys.
messages.
Here's what's crazy. Some of it went out later at night. Again, this was code world nightmare. And I love Sierra. I think Sierra is fantastic. Just be very transparent. That's why we use it. It just was a mistake. Just something happened. It's all fixed now. It didn't infect everybody else. This is what happens when you volunteer to try things out. Okay. But here's what you need to hear in that. Those other 14 people responded normally. You want to know why? Because we operate off of notifications. So when they opened up their phone, they didn't know that we had sent them 11 text messages. They thought it was one. They read the one at the bottom of the thing. They didn't even know the other 10 were there. They open up. They don't care about the other notifications. Like, oh, that's weird. They're done.
Yeah.
That was a unique thing that I wanted to bring up. But here's what's great. When people don't respond, you got to keep trying. And it's just luck. Truly. Luck of time. Howard Tagger with Wilopo said this really well. He said, sometimes people just respond because it's convenient for them.
Right.
So it's so true. So we do try a message. We have a message that is an aliens message that we've kind of become known for. I think it's the dumbest message ever written, but it works.
But it works.
Well. So
it works well.
Just to be very transparent. So what it does is it says, hey, Dale, I've tried reaching out a bunch of times. I haven't heard anything. This tells me one of three things. One, you're no longer interested in making a move. Two, you are interested in making a move, but you've been too busy to respond. Or three, you've been abducted by aliens. In that case, let me know. And we'll reach out to NASA or Elon Musk to come and rescue you, right? So the point, it's different. And then we send a space aliens gift with it. This thing gets like a 10% response rate after we've sent 10, 9, whatever other messages to them, they haven't responded. Because it's different. It's humor. It seems human, right? And it's just, it's well written. And we have different versions of that. We have a DMV version. We have a quicksand version.
The DMV version.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Is it the one with like from Zootopia where the you're waiting on the sloth? Is it that one?
Yep, exactly. So instead of it saying you're abducted by aliens, it says you're stuck in line at your local DMV. In that case, let me know so we can come and rescue you.
Waiting for the punchline.
And if you've seen, exactly. If you've seen Zootopia, it's the sloth slowly stamping, right? And I know we're going to trigger some DMV worker, and I know it's going to happen someday.
That'd be awesome.
I don't care. That would be awesome. So
math, we got to deal with
the things that don't respond is we send creative messages. The second thing, just I'm trying to fit all the answers in. If somebody has ghosted you, nudge them. Literally just text them like, hey, Dale, wanted to make sure you got my last message. We generally tell all of our users, don't be afraid to nudge them 3 times, not one day. Space it out. Nudge them one day, nudge them again, and then nudge them again. Send the aliens one, right? As your nudge, 3-4 days in. And what happens, you'll realize, is people just forget to respond. That's the risk of texting. Is it's so easy for me. I think I've done it to Brian, where I've sent Brian a text. We've done it to each other. It's very, we do it to our spouses. Do you think people are going to do it to a random phone number? All the time. We just forget. So you just got to you got to send polite nudges. Hey, just wanted to see you got this. Or one that works really well is, hey, tag, you're it. That works really well. Things like that. Just, whatever you'd send your friend, your best friend, when she hasn't responded to your text, or your spouse.
Whatever appropriate message you would send your friend. Whatever PG message you would send your friend. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Try that stuff. So that's what we do, man.
And I want to add this real quick. So I have never on purpose uploaded a GIF and sent it to anyone. Just, I can tell you that right now.
Brian, you don't look like you don't look like a GIF guy.
Until, and let me say this, until I started using Robby's plans. Why did I start doing it? Look, guys, I don't want a GIF. I don't care about GIFs. I don't care about emojis. Like, sometimes they come up on my phone and I'll hit them because I typed a word and magically I get emojis. But I'm not a millennial. I'm the old guy on the panel, and I'm okay with that. But understand this, the majority of the people that you're talking to, don't worry about yourself. If you hate GIFs, send them anyway. If you hate emojis, send them anyway.
Listen,
this
my mother-in-law is in her 70s. She sends GIFs. She talks in GIFs. It's okay. It's personality based, right? So whether or not you send them is personality based. I don't think that it has anything to do generationally, right? Everybody understands them, but it really, so what I would say to this, Robby, and you probably agree, is stop being you, right? Be whoever you need to be to get somebody to talk to you.
It's mirroring and matching. Yep. 100%.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean to be non-authentic, but it just means, hey, send these things out. People find them funny. That alien GIF is funny. The sloth GIF is funny. And you can go get them. They're free. You can download them. They're great. So, why not?
Yeah, I will say this. Some people get triggered by them. We had someone who's like, don't report me to NASA. That's why we included the line now with Elon Musk. Somebody got so triggered about us reporting them. No, they said to the government. So here's the thing.
I think you want to delete that person. I mean, me, I'd be like, delete.
Yeah. People are like super sensitive to it, but we've all done it where we call a lead and they take your head off too. It's going to happen. There's this, I think it stings less because it's not voice to voice. That probably helps. And then the last big thing I'll add, just one final thing, is your system really matters in how you organize everything at a really high level, because when that person fails to text you back, you only remember to carry on the conversation if you don't have a system when that message shows up in your inbox. That's how it works, right? Dale texts me, I text him back, Facebook message back and forth. We're notification driven to respond. Here's what we do is, because there's a chance if I text Dale, he doesn't respond, I know that there's a chance that maybe he just accidentally forgets to respond. What we do is we put him on a tag. We call it active text in our system. And we put him on a traditional plan that reminds me to look at Dale every day, because if we're actively texting back and forth, if he slips through the cracks, I have to go nudge him. So your systems become paramount. This is what's unique is the ISA game, for example, used to be all about blah, 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 talking on the phone. And now it's all this, texting back and forth, and systems are marquee. So that's the last thing I wanted to end on. And if you ever want to reach out to me, hatchcoaching.com, find me on Facebook, reach out to me there. We're more than willing to help out. So.
Yeah,
excellent.
Real quick, I'll give you a second to, we appreciate you being on today, and we'd love to have you back again. Just real quick, what are some of the costs to work with your program?
Yeah, so our systems package that we've created in Sierra, and again, we're working on the pricing for the Follow Up Boss stuff. That still has to come. We've just got to shape some things out, fine edges. But the Sierra stuff is $399 a month, and those people we set everything up. It's truly, for me, I know how I'd want it done. It's white glove. We set everything up. You have access to me. Brian has seen this. I live on this app called Marco Polo, where all my users have access to me on Marco Polo, so they can send me questions at any time. And what we're always doing is we're always innovating our messages. This is really what we're doing. That way they're going through, they're working. We want to make sure that it's working really well, and we just keep playing with it.
Can you
measure data? That's what matters.
Yeah, I wanted you to kind of expand on that a little bit, because you guys aren't just like dicking around to see what kind of, you're not joke writing, right? You're actually like looking at data to say, aliens did better than sloth or whatever.
We are fortunate that we have a real estate team in Fargo that and I have a few handful of users that really have volunteered to be the beta tests, because I have some weird, crazy ideas in my mind on how we can convert leads, different messages. And, my buddy, Mike Novak, one of my favorite people out there, he is one of those beta tests, and he lets us try it on his campaign. Sometimes, like one quick story was, we did a plan that included voicemail drops, and 2-3 weeks in, Mike sends me a text. He's like, I think we need to get rid of the voicemail drop. And what happened was the voicemail drop was lowering the contact rate 20% compared to what an email was. We're like, yep, ain't doing that again. And really what it comes down to, I think what we're seeing is more and more, and this is for PPC leads, not like a realtor.com, different, totally different thing. But with higher funnel leads, PPC, forced registration, phone calls annoy people because those people tend to be, again, younger, they Googled looking at some homes, and they don't want your random call. And we literally just launched on Monday of this week a split test where we are texting and emailing leads versus call, text, and email to get real data. We're going to publish a white paper. David Tam is helping us with Cast Services on this. Super great guy. He's helping kind of advise and guide us on this. Though, the thing you need to hear is most people would have to, stop calling for one group. We had to start calling because my ISA stopped calling new forced registration leads in September. My ISAs touched 400 and half of our deals last year. So 430 some deals, the 4 ISAs. And the game is changing and you got to adapt with it. And every market's different, right? Naples, Florida, much different than Fargo or Austin, right? Austin, everyone's 23 years old and wanting to do whatever. Naples, different total story. So every market's a little bit different. And I'm not saying never call leads, but my ISAs ran some informal split tests that said it just wasn't worth it. It wasn't leading to extra contacts.
I mean, at this point, you can confidently say, even if you can't yet say don't call, you can absolutely say you have to text.
Yeah.
Like you must be texting, which is why I made the joke about, listen, if you aren't converted, don't come into this house because you've just missed the boat if you're not doing it.
I'll be very frank. You're that person that sees an asteroid about to hit the earth and you're putting the head in the sand saying it ain't going to raise. It's not going to cause any problems. And you got to adapt or die, friends. Truly, as business owners, entrepreneurs, you adapt or you die in this business. And if you want to keep converting internet leads, if you want to do those types of things, calling was the way to convert them. A lot of people used to do circle prospecting. I get it. When answer rates continue to go down, it becomes less fruitful. These are just realities of what's happening. You got to be willing to pivot. You got to be open-minded.
Absolutely.
Good.
And guys,
all right. The name of the show is Cash Call. So we're not saying not call people, but just Robbie said that. But really what we are saying is your ratios are changing. Yes. Where it used to be almost 1-to-1. I think we're seeing maybe 5 or 10-to-1. We'll get some numbers back from Robbie when he does that. So we still are having phone conversations. Please don't think that Robbie's saying that, but he's just saying create efficiency, talk to people at least initially the way they want to be talked to, and then we can convert them to a phone call. We can convert them to in person. So it's just a different philosophy and do that. So Dale, I'll pass it back to you for your final thoughts.
Yeah. I would say, obviously you pointed out the name is Cash Call. It's not about just calling. It never was really. It's about sales dialogue, right? And sales dialogue is written, verbal, so those are the two ways that you're actually communicating in sales, whether you're face-to-face, over the phone, over text, over email, over DM, by a mailed thank you card, right? It's all sales communication. Right. So that's why we wanted to have you here, Robbie, because you're really a specialist. I mean, obviously you're really good at scripting and dialogue. You've made billions of calls and conversations, just like both Brian and I, but you really excel in something that you've gone way farther than either Brian or I ever have in this venue. And so we wanted to have you come talk to people about it.
Thank you. I love it. I could, as you can tell, and I think all three of us three are probably like the 3 weirdos that just geek out about lead conversion, man.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. For some reason,
it
definitely makes me happy. I don't know why.
I always joke that I'm just twisted in the head or something. So I'm glad that there's 2 other weirdos out there like me.
Yeah. Great. Excellent. Thank you so much for coming today.
Appreciate
Lab
you,
Code
Robbie.
Agents, Robby Trefethren. You guys can find him, Robby T at hatchcoaching.com. And we'll be back again next week.
Thanks
everybody.
Bye.